What's going on, guys? So we have another video here with yours truly, Charles Forte. Man, this guy, he's been getting all the bangers, and so I likewise want to go ahead and start doing this as well. It's just for me, because my social media stuff is on my phone and I'm not really saving these things. I lose these videos and I can't really compile them like this to put it in this kind of format to watch it for you guys. But I am going to actively get better with these things and start boosting my production quality for the reaction videos. Let's just jump up into this. Woman embarrasses herself after receiving her first child support check. Now, I'm not going to lie, I already did kind of see this video, but let's just go ahead, see what Charles has to say about it, and I'll also give my thoughts about it as well. I am not here to bash anybody. I know people have been up in the comments. Some people are like, oh, you know, you're this, you're saying that. I never make generalization statements when I'm making my videos. I would really respect it if you guys just watched the video before you all started hating or before you all come into the comment section, become comment section warriors. And for those of you guys who do support what I'm talking about and you see the points of views, I respect it. I thank you for that kind of stuff. And I hope you become a member of the channel. Not just in terms of like if I get a membership, but you subscribe and keep on helping me join or grow to that 1K subscriber mark. But anyways.
Hey, hey, hey! Look what I just got! Long time coming! I know that's right! I know that's right! You know what? Let me open it with you guys. Oh my god! Cute!
That is very disgusting. You're doing this in front of your kids. Please. I'm that kind of person. Look, if I had children and I had a relationship where like me and the woman weren't seeing eye to eye and stuff like that, I'm gonna try not to handle myself in a manner where I'm crapping on that person or arguing with that person in front of my kids. Like when I'm here for my children, I'm here for my children. I don't even have children, but I know the value and importance of coddling and caring for the young little ones. You know, that's even a Bible verse. And it's like, to get so happy to get up on the internet and stuff like that, you gotta be ashamed. You ought to be. But, hey. This is just what happens when people get free money, I guess. And I'm not gonna say everybody, because some people know how to act, but so hey. Anyway.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Pay to the order of Nikki Oviedo. Thank you for my son. Kyrie, what do you want? Kyrie, what do you want to go buy? You want to go buy your Luigi costume? Say thanks, Dad. About time you start doing some shit, bum. I will never be that motherfucker's piece.
That is disgusting. Oh my gosh. That is so disgusting. And then she said, I'll never be that person's piece. That is very gross. OMG. Well.
Thank you for finally doing some shit for your son. Round of applause, round of applause.
I mean, she says that, but the act of them having sex was something that he did for his son. And we don't know the context of what they have going on, but that kind of stuff right there is just not it in the slightest.
Yeah, let me go ahead and endorse. Thank you. Hello? Yeah, I want to deposit a check. A child support check.
And I'm sorry, I keep pumping. She didn't have to do any of this in front of the kids. She didn't have to. But she made this video and she's like almost celebrating gallivanting. And it's like, that's so disgusting. That's very disgusting. And I don't even stand by a man. Like if a man was getting child support and he was out here, yeah, I just got that dumb. I don't even support that. That's gross. Ouch. My heart kind of goes out for society when I see stuff like this.
Let these motherfuckers know.
I think we have to be able to acknowledge when you see things like this, that two things could be true at the same time. We can acknowledge with the situation, she's collecting her first child support check, gauging by how big that kid look in the back seat. If that man hasn't been paying child support, he hasn't been doing his duty as a man who produced the child to make sure he's there to be a financial support, they're physically there to help raise that kid, whatever. We can acknowledge that if he's not doing his part, then he's a shitty person. He's a shitty dad. He sucks at the job he signed up to do by sleeping with this woman and producing the kid. Right. We can acknowledge all of that. We don't have to defend bad fathers. True. But what we can also acknowledge is that she might be a shitty mom also. Just because she's the one who got stuck with the kid doesn't mean that she's this great parent. Did you hear what she just said? She just said, I will never be this man's piece. And so just ask yourself this question. Do you think that the mother who has that kind of mentality towards the father of her child is going to have an unbiased perspective in the way in which she raises her son up and how she actually even pours into him as being a young boy, the spitting image of the man she despises? That's one. Do you think that is not going to seep over the imagery and the perception that she wants that boy to believe in when it comes to his father, rather than allowing him to develop his own perception of his father? The best thing any mother can do in this situation, who's dealing with a man who's a deadbeat dad, scum of the earth, cool. Let the child figure it out on their own, because they will find out soon enough. Let them develop their own perception of who that man is. They'll see it. They will find out through time, through experiences, through absence, if that's what it is, that that man is terrible. But you do that child a disservice when you try and teach them that's what that man is.
Yeah, my bad. So I didn't want to turn off my camera on OBS, but I completely agree with Charles here. It's just going to be a matter of time. Like, when you grow up as a child, I feel like the due diligence of parents is not even to really hearken on stuff like that. And excuse me, once you have a child, that's your responsibility. And like how Charles was saying, excuse me. Damn. Thank y'all. But once you have a child, if you are gonna step out of that child's life, whether you are the man or the woman, yes, that makes you a deadbeat. That makes you a bad parent and a terrible individual. For you to create something that's living, sentient being, and then to just abandon it. People even do that to their pets, and like you guys now know in the state of Florida, if you do a crime to an animal, you have a harsher sentence. But all that like gallivanting and doing this and that stuff is messy. All in front of your kids, please. Your children don't need to be hearing from their mom all the time that their dad is this and is that and all that other stuff. That's what I mean by like, please keep that stuff away from your kids. Don't argue in front of your kids. Don't have those like passive aggressive fights and all that. Please, not in front of the kids. When the kids are around, when they're up, when they're happy, this and that, smiles, coddling, playing with them. Even if y'all are going through custody things, like a divorce or something, like, please keep it like that, because children's minds, once they go and they see that dysfunctionality, it messes them up. And like how Charles is saying, what example is she setting for her daughter that's in the back? What example is she setting for her son? Her son that is going to see that and it's going to just be chilling there like, oh yeah, well my dad really ain't ish and this and that. Like, oh man.
And brainwash them into believing that's what that man is, rather than just allowing them to come to that conclusion on their own. Because if he's in fact this deadbeat dad who you had to scrape and fight just to get your first child support check from because he doesn't do anything, it's going to show. Any mother who would say that, let alone jump on camera and say it on the record that she will never be that man's piece. It's not about the child and doing what's best for him, your son. It's about trying to make that man suffer, because let's not forget this. As much as she's sitting here with all this hate and vitriol she has towards the father of her child right now in present time, remember, at one point in that relationship, she cared for him, he cared for her deeply enough where she felt comfortable laying down, busting it wide open, and producing a child with him and believing in that decision. And for whatever reason, maybe he just doesn't want to be with her anymore. I mean, we're only 1 minute into this video, and that wouldn't really be that far-fetched for us to believe if that was really the case. But instead of her just actually moving on because it would be a benefit to her and obviously to the child that she is responsible for raising, loser type women like this will take their time. Let's remember what she's doing here, because she said on multiple locations, as we can see already. Loser type women like this will take the time to record themselves thinking that they're somehow winning by taken to run to the internet to bash the man that they chose to lay down with. I always say, and this goes for both men and women, you only make yourself look like a bigger idiot when you come to the internet to bash the person who you opened your legs up to and slept with, or you had a baby with, baby mama, baby daddy, because what you're literally telling people are, this was my standard. This is what I found to be acceptable. Best thing you could do in a situation like this is just shut the hell up, live, learn, and move on with life. But time and time again, what you see are people who run to the internet thinking that they are actually doing something by trying to bash the people who they no longer have any respect for because of how things ended. But she's willing to do all of this for a little check. And I do mean little, literally, because the caliber of man she was probably busting it wide open for, she wouldn't be able to squeeze that much out of him anyway. And sadly, what she fails to recognize is that people aren't laughing with her, they're just laughing at her.
It's a beautiful day today. Beautiful day to receive child support. Oh my God, it's gonna be my jokey joke for the longest. You thought I had jokes before?
I think like stuff like this as well, the child support office should see this and they should be like, oh, because there is to a degree certain levels of censorship on the internet. And one thing that I find very interesting is if you if you start making videos talking about how you're going to commit crimes of mass attacks or rape or this or that, they will rightfully so at some point in time either delete your channel, you'll have knocks on the door from police, like certain things happen. But when it comes down to things like this, where and something else that Charles is kind of glossing over, I don't want to say too much about it, but I'm just gonna say it for this one video. Women like that who are spiteful, like don't underestimate a spiteful person, much less a spiteful woman. I know a lot of people like to think that women are these innocent creatures who will never hurt a fly, and that woman just said it, that she'll never be his piece. So she's willing to go long distances to ensure that this can keep going on. And even like how Charles was saying, if he was a deadbeat and he was not on this type of timing or this or that, still, man, still. To get to that degree, to get to that level where you're making a video and you're celebrating, you're dancing, you're just like, she's fully onto the idea of like, yeah, like this is cool. This is, yeah. Like, the government made you do this. I'm get like, it's like she's on evil mode. She's being mischievous. And no. You just can't be proud of certain things like that. That's very gross. And that just speaks volumes, like how Charles was saying, on her as a person and who she decided to lay up with. It's just, wow. I personally think if you're really willing to show this level of just vitriol to somebody, where's CPS? Where's the child support agency to see that she's gallivanting about this? To say, well, you know what, ma'am, we're actually going to terminate service. Because if you're doing stuff like this, yeah, we're here to help the kid get money, but we're not here to fund something so that you can parade and say, "Oh, I'm up on it, please." Oh no, absolutely not.
You ain't seen nothing yet. You know, I wouldn't be me if I didn't have a White Claw to this. So,
And then she's drinking.
cheers. If you ever could take any advice from me, put your baby down on child support. Cheers. Oh my god, bitch. Oh my god. Look at this shit. That says. Oh my god.
If you're not able to take anything else away from this video besides the fact of her ridiculous behavior is entertainingly sad to watch, this should serve as the greatest form of birth control for a childless man out there today. If you're a man and you watch this and you have no kids yet, this should serve as the only piece of evidence you need at your disposal before you ever decide to say, you know what? Think I'm gonna go raw this time. I think I'm gonna skip out on the condom and leave it in my pocket. I'm not gonna run to the store. It feels better without it. I think that I will make that decision of a one night of pleasure over what could turn out to be a lifetime full of regret. Could you imagine if this ends up being your baby mama? I mean, gentlemen, can you fathom the idea that this woman would be the mother of your child? Can you imagine what you would have to deal with on a daily? As her goal, as she said it, was to not bring this man any peace. All because you thought it would be a better decision because of the pleasure you were going to experience that moment to go in there straight raw daddy. And I think one thing that men have to be willing to acknowledge and admit, take accountability for, who have women like this as the mother of their child, and this is their life, this is what they live every day, is you got to be willing to admit you did a piss poor job of vetting the woman you decided to have a child with appropriately. The standard that they set for where they felt comfortable sticking their man meat was extremely low. Because listen, we could argue all day as far as to it take two people to create that child, but only one in the eyes of the law. If they don't want it, they don't got to keep it. We could argue that how is right, is wrong, is unfair. We could talk about that. But what we cannot argue is that prior to that, you get a choice, fellas. You get to decide whether or not this is a woman you feel comfortable. No, excuse me. You feel confident in shooting your secret sauce in. You have that choice. You have that option. Where your secret sauce goes. And I'm sorry, it's not really much that you're going to be able to show me after we done seen this clip right here, no matter how short and brief it was. It's not really much that you can convince me of otherwise that's going to have me believe that this woman at any point in time and whatever they had together was a viable option that that man should have looked at as being the mother to his child if he was thinking with any type of logic. But we do have some time left, guys, so let's go do some quick clips of some things that you guys have sent me through my DMs or things that I've come across on social media myself. Let's go ahead and check some of these out. These should be interesting. This one's captioned with the title, "Coffee dates equals a no for me."
I am just going to end the video right then and there. If you guys want to see the rest of Charles's video, go ahead and check out his channel. Coffee dates not enough for me. Remember like what I said in that other video that we also reacted to with Charles? What happened to women having the gratitude? What's up with that, man? Now, I'm not saying that you have to just settle for bare minimum, this and that. Yes, you get to a point in time in your life where if it smells like garbage, you're not going to do it. And I completely understand that. But it's like, I feel like sometimes our standards are just super, super high. And I understand, like, people are gonna be like, "Oh man, what are you talking about? Like, she don't gotta do nothing." Yeah, you're right, but this is obviously coming from someone she considered, or something that she's thinking in her head about somebody who's gonna speak to her. Likewise with myself as a man, like, could you guys imagine I as a man was talking about, yeah, man, if she don't pay for her own food and for her own Uber to get to the date because I'm not picking her up on, like, are we talking about somebody that we have an interest in, or are we just talking about somebody that's got to prove something to us? You know, like, what do you have to prove if we're really here for love and to have actual conversation and stuff like that? But yeah, like I said, y'all check out Charles's video, and yeah, we're out of this thing. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.